So I'm just on my way back from CEX, and like what most of us do, I traded in a ton of bulk filler games that don't have much individual value on their own for a voucher, and with that voucher I picked up Silent Hill 2 for the PlayStation 2, £45 that cost. Now I'm not quite sure what to do with this yet. I've already got Silent Hill 2, but this copy is in better condition than the one I've got, so this will probably go into my retro gaming collection. And what I'll do with the other one, sell it on eBay and turn that voucher into actual money. But every time I'm in CEX, I always look at the PlayStation 1 games. PS1 is my console. Me and my brother back in the day, we did have a few consoles, but we always had to share them. The PS1 was the one console that I owned. It was mine. I saved up with it, bought it with my own money that I'd earned from stacking shelves in the local supermarket. I found a newspaper advert selling one secondhand with a ton of games. It was mine. And I've been adding to my old PS1 collection ever since. But when looking at the PS1 games today, I did notice a couple of things. Firstly, and at last, they now say whether the game comes with or without the manual. I picked this copy of Vagrant Story up just before Christmas. I went to Ponty, I went to all the CEXs in Cardiff, and finally I went to Newport to find one that had the manual. And secondly, there's been an overall price change. That cost 28 quid before Christmas. With the manual, you're going to pay £40 from CEX now. And this Spider-Man here, it cost me 18 quid 2 weeks ago. Without the manual, that now costs £22. This one does have the manual, that would set you back 30 quid. Now I've watched a few videos on this recently, and there's a few people saying that the CEX prices for PS1 games are now too high. Others out there are saying they won't buy the with manual price and they'll only buy the without manual price or not buy it at all. And others are saying collecting retro games is completely dead. Now on my channel, when I go to the charity shops and the boot sales, I love to find those items that are nostalgic to me. Things that remind me of my childhood. And this time last year, I rebought my whole N64 collection. Well, luckily I did keep my old original PS1 collection from back in the day. But all this has got me thinking. If I did rebuild that PS1 collection today, how much would it cost to do it from CEX? I don't want to drop these. And here they are, my original PS1 gaming collection from back in the day. I keep these up in my loft, away from all the ones that I've recently bought from CEX. There is no chance any of these are going anywhere near eBay, they just mean too much to me. Before we run through how much that stack would be to replace in CEX, we need to have a system to run it on. Here it is, my original PS1 console. It's definitely mine, right? It's got a really dodgy eject button. There we are. In CEX, if you want to buy a PlayStation 1 with DualShock controller in this condition, you've got to pay £55 for it. But already this is putting a bit of a doubt on this study in general. Who is buying that in CEX for 55 quid? You see PS1 deals on Marketplace all the time. Yeah, they might be chipped. Yeah, you don't get the warranty. But you're going to get a few games with it that you can trade in and knock the price down even further. But 55 quid, CEX. Next up, the games. Everybody had this in their collection. Tomb Raider 2. Who didn't lock the butler in the fridge? Look, I've still got the original sticker. This would have been 20 quid, brand new, sealed back in the day. In CEX, if you want to buy that with the manual, £15. Oddworld, Abe's Exodus. Still got this ratty old sticker on the side there. 2 discs with manual, that'll cost you 20 quid. What's great about these old PS1 games are the movies that the games were made for. Alien Trilogy with booklet, 15 quid. Final Fantasy 7 with manual. Thing is, my box is absolutely trashed. 2 big cracks along the back there. Thing is, it's really hard to find a replacement case because it's not a conventional one. Thing is, I don't want to find a replacement case. That's my copy there. 25 quid. And then Final Fantasy 9 Platinum Edition with the manual. CEX is selling that for £20. 2 games that absolutely blew my mind. At the time, you didn't think the graphics could ever get any better than Gran Turismo 1 or Gran Turismo 2. Both of these have got the manual, and CEX is selling both of these for £15 each. A PS1 big hitter, Silent Hill Platinum Edition. I've got the manual for it. It's probably the first time I've ever looked through it. The prices of this seem to fluctuate all the time. At the minute, with the manual, CEX is selling Platinum Edition £85. If you got this in your collection, and I got this one by trading in loads of bulk games for vouchers, with the manual, that's going for £125 in CEX at the minute. This was a surprising one, an arcade classic platinum version of Ridge Racer with the manual, £20. Grand Theft Auto 2. I definitely was not old enough to be playing this game. 18 certificate on the front. Got the map. Oh, Got the map and the manual. Here's one. If it says that it comes with the manual, does it mean just that? Or does it mean that as well? If I'm paying 25 quid for it, I want it to have both in there. Both of these games with the manual you can pick up for a tenner each. Driver 2 and Wild 9. In fact, this was my friend's old copy. He finished it, gave it to me for my birthday. Swapping things, trading things with mates, we used to do that all the time. The Tony Hawk's games are the games that have had the biggest influence on me. Yeah, they're great games in themselves, but it's the soundtracks. These define my music taste and still do now. Black Label, with manuals, these sell for 15 each. Platinum Edition, Wipeout 2097, that's selling for 15 too. Saga Frontier 2. I remember looking for an RPG that was like a cell shade style, similar to Alundra, but I'd borrowed Alundra from the video shop, played it, didn't get on with it. This come up in PlayStation Magazine, I thought I'd give it a crack. This game has been played for all of quarter of an hour. Started it, didn't really get on with the fighting mechanics, went straight back in the case. 35 quid in CEX. We used to go to that video rental shop all the time, borrow games for a weekend, drop them back. And after a while, once the games had got a bit old, they then sold them off. Space Hulk with manual, that sells for £15 too, although they don't have any in stock with manual, without manual, or mint. Looking at the eBay solds, doesn't look to be a particularly rare game, mind. Look at the manual on that one though. And then Spawn Eternal. This is the only one I've got that doesn't have a manual. This one definitely come from that video shop, because you can see on there, there's a sticker. Property of Choices Video. Do not attempt to remove. A little peel, doesn't come off. Without manual, £22. And then I got 4 games that aren't on the CEX website, but I've looked up sold listings on eBay, and these hold a bit of value. Chicken Run with manual, our original sticker on the front there, nice bit of customization, 20 quid. Die Hard Platinum. I used to play this with the official PlayStation mouse, no idea where that's gone, but that's selling on eBay for a tenner. And how are these not on the CEX website? The original Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Underground. With the manuals, these sell on eBay for about £15 each. So, totting up all the numbers. If I wanted to rebuy my collection from CEX, or those last ones off of eBay, bearing in mind I have taken out the FIFAs and all the Formula 1 games, £507. Well, bearing in mind retro gaming collecting is meant to be dead, I'm a little bit disappointed with that. I thought honestly it would have been a bit higher. Yes, it obviously depends what games you've got, how many games you've got, and there are definitely a few classics I am missing from there. A couple of Resis, Crash, Tekken, but I think the games I do have and the amount are pretty representative. Let's be honest, not many people would have had Castlevania back in the day. And where I'm going with this is I'm trying to picture all the nostalgic items for me from that era. I'm sat in my bedroom with my Linkin Park hoodie on, listening to my Sony Discman, checking my watch, turning the TV off with my Casio watch, and then realising I'm late to football, so I got to pick up my Adidas Preds and get on out there. If I now want to add Metal Gear Solid with the manual to my retro nostalgic collection, because I can remember renting it from the video shop and only playing it for a weekend, that's only going to cost 35 quid. And if you compare that to some of the other nostalgic items for me, you get a lot of bang for your buck. And the thing CEX are trying to do with their manual prices, they are trying to target the collectors. They're trying to get the nostalgia trippers. Because let's face it, that's the only reason why you're going to buy that. If you're a gamer and you want to play the games, there are so many other ways you can do it. You can emulate it, you could probably download it on the latest systems anyway. Or you could just go and buy an unboxed or a disc-only one off of eBay for a fraction of the price. There are definitely still ways to play these games for a really effective price. And even with the current pricing, there are still some absolute bargains in there. I've got the first 3 Tomb Raiders down there. I want to get the 4th. It's only a tenner. We all know retro games are collectible, and the prices are starting to creep up gradually to reflect that. But still, compared to other collectible markets, 9 times out of 10, they're still good value for money. Take toy collecting for example. You can get a Generation 1 Ultra Magnus Transformer from the mid-80s complete without the box for about 20 quid on eBay. If you want it with the box, the instructions, the inlays, or the polystyrene, you can pay 120 quid on eBay. Both of these would make a fine addition to any collection, and naturally, you're drawn to that one. The demand is high, it's more scarce, so the price is high. If you compare this to the PlayStation 1 world, you can get pre-owned box with manuals for less than what it cost brand new back in the day. As a collectible, it's still great value for money. The thing I do find difficult about retro gaming collecting though is the competition is fierce. Everybody's doing it, and it's because that is so nostalgic to people from our generation. And what I can't quite get my head around is the scale of it all as well. Yes, I've got my own personal collection from back in the day, but if I wanted to try and target every single PAL PlayStation game ever, there are thousands out there. So yes, the individual unit price is quite reasonable, but if I wanted to grow and expand my collection significantly, I can see the money adding up. So because CEX prices have gone up, will I change anything? Absolutely not. I can't think of any other collectible where you can take your old items in, trade them in for store credit, and then keep on building that up until you've got enough to buy something that you want. I think that is really, really powerful. And in fact, I've got my kids doing that already now. Whenever they finish with an old game or a DVD, they go in and they build up their own credit. In fact, it was that got me started in the whole trading world when I was younger. The games that I will be targeting will still be the ones with the manuals, because when it comes to flipping them on eBay, that's what the collectors are going to want, and that's what the collectors are going to pay top dollar for. It'll be interesting to see how the eBay markets now differ because of the CEX price changes. But if you're like me as a collector, I see how much CEX is selling it for, and then I look at how much eBay is selling it for, and then I choose based on which is most competitive. I do think that even though CEX prices have gone up, it's going to be us as the collector that determines where the CEX and eBay prices settle. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Catch up with you in the next one.